when is Trump ever going to learn? He doesn't get it. He doesn't get that there are real enemies out there. There are people that do not like America. And he just, if he gets it, then that's even worse because he's putting America in jeopardy in their safety. The American people's safety would be in jeopardy with this. I mean, we go from India to Pakistan, from Syria to Qatar, from Trump 1.0 to Trump 2.0. And the pieces are coming together. And I'd suggest that anybody out there watches this video the whole way through, because we're tying together in a way that many who don't understand what's happening with the Trump and his new bromance with the Islamic nations, Islamic states. Well, all right, let's just go. You guys ready? Okay.
The president will also later in the day hold a multilateral meeting with Qatar, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Turkey, Pakistan, Egypt, the UAE, and Jordan.
I mean, you all know we're not here to trash talk Trump. I'm not. We want what's best for the United States and our allies around the world. We want what's best, and we're not saying that everything that Trump does is bad. We don't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, that everything he does is bad, everything. He can't even sneeze without it being bad. We want to make America great again. We want to make India great again. But when was Pakistan or Syria or many of these other Middle Eastern countries ever great to the Western worlds and to the democracies in the world? Why is America rebuking its closest friend in democracy in peaceful habitats and forming new bonds with countries that have been known for the opposite, that just want to take over or destroy? Okay. Why is Trump moving in this direction? So many Americans are really confused right now, and the press can't seem to do their job. I mean, man, oh man. I mean, Modi and Jaishankar are even having to readjust their alliances, which makes this even more confusing and more detrimental to the bonds that have been forged over the last 50, 60 years with that country. I mean, we've seen such a significant change in Trump's demeanor alone towards legitimate questions that Americans want to ask because they're legitimate for. I mean, check this out. I want you to observe closely the reactions of Trump on different events. Take notice. It's become more and more obvious and more frequent. I mean, when Trump knows something that he's in the wrong with and has no relative or relatively positive or justifiable answer for it, he gets mad. And when he doesn't know something he's in the wrong with, he gets embarrassed. His reactions on each account might just be a telltale sign of whether the reporter's onto a secret story that Trump doesn't want or he simply can't due to secrecy. Let the cat out of the bag, but he knows is onto the bad side of history with it, like the Epstein files, family crypto, or those bad things. And when he doesn't know, he says, I'll find out about that, or has to pass a question on to an advisor or constituent. He acts like this. So there's different demeanors that he brings along with all of this confusion. I mean, what we're going to do, let's go over some examples real quick on these kinds of responses we're looking at. First, his business practices in question. Check it out.
But is it appropriate, President Trump, that a president in office should be engaged in so much business activity?
Well, I'm really not. My kids are running the business. I'm here. You know what the activity, where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Four Corners program.
Well, the Australians, you're hurting Australia, right? In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much right now. And they want to get along with me. You know, your leader is coming over to see me very soon. I'm going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone.
Well,
go ahead, John.
Maybe you can
set a nicer tone.
When the UAE does a deal, what does it want in return?
Quiet. Mr. President.
Never mind that question for a moment. We'll go over that later. But consider Trump's response. Weird, right? It was weird. Now, what about the Epstein question?
Could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the set?
Yeah, sure. If
could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success.
Again, never mind the question. Notice the deterring of it. Hold on. We're going somewhere with this, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the most recent question. Why is the U.S. buying Russian oil products?
I got the experts. You've been calling on Europe to stop buying Russian oil. The U.S. has imported $755 million worth of Russian uranium and plutonium so far just this year. That's up from the Biden administration last year, about $100 million. Can you ask Europe to cut off purchasing those kinds of products?
Doug, do you know anything about that?
Well, yeah, absolutely, but this goes back not only drill, baby, drill, but we've got to mine, baby, mine. We allowed ourselves to fall under dependence of both China and Russia for critical minerals. America buying.
Look at that face. He's embarrassed. He doesn't know. Why doesn't he know this? I mean, after all, when you're briefing the President of the United States on decisions that will affect billions of people, why wouldn't you think that the president would want the information that could come back to bite him? Make him look like he's incompetent or ill-informed or stupid for that matter. But what about when he does know? Look at these two faces, visually upset and panicky. He wants to escape from what he knows has no positive or good answer. This is how a spoiled brat looks usually when he controls his parents after he gets caught and says something like, well, you should have never divorced daddy or something like that. You know, turns the blame back to the parent. Bad parenting. In the United States, here's the parent. But Mr. Trump, let me just tell you, we're not parents who spare the rod and spoil the child. We demand consequences for actions, and we deserve to know what you're doing. Now look at the questions that he was escaping from. The Aussie journalist who was asking about doing so much business while you're the president of a country. I mean, that's a fair question. Seeing that how Trump has made somewhere in the range of $5 to $7 billion. That's more in the first 7 months of his presidency than he's made his entire lifetime in real estate. Trump says that his kids have taken over his business while he's in office. And if that's true, then his kids are 1,000 times smarter than him because they're doing what dad could never do. But you see, it is true, but it's a half truth. Yes, his kids are doing his biddings now, but Trump's businesses were established by Trump for the success to come if he won presidency. The businesses he created while he was out of presidency were created for a president to enrich his family in the dealings. And these businesses could only have succeeded if he won the 2024 election. Otherwise, he'd be about $6 billion poorer. That's right. He's accumulated more from these businesses that went from zero to billions within months. And he's embracing the Islamic nations because that's where his money is mostly coming from and much of it going to. Explain how Pakistan went from this.
Today, 20 U.S. designated foreign terrorist organizations are active in Afghanistan and Pakistan, the highest concentration in any region, anywhere in the world. For its part, Pakistan often gives safe haven to agents of chaos, violence, and terror.
To now Trump having more meetings with Pakistan leaders than any other country in the world. Come on. Well, just like that clip I showed you with Trump in the Epstein and Mar-a-Lago, this went on in Mar-a-Lago before 2024 election. It's why Trump now is so in love with Pakistan.
A country called Pakistan. Let me tell you, this is a very pro-Trump environment, and all they want is peace. I looked in their leaders' eyes, and all they wanted was for that American eagle to come there, do great things, and partner together. It's a totally misunderstood place in the world.
And we need Pakistan. You are our front face in this entire region.
Remember that man. His name was Gentry Beach. Keep that in mind. And Steve Witkoff, remember him. Think about him. The American lawyer and real estate investor is now setting up meetings with foreign leaders and acting as the United States special envoy to the Middle East.
I just don't know what Steve Witkoff does for a living. Honest to God. Like, we need better envoys. Again, Witkoff has demonstrated, to my mind, pretty much zero actual negotiation chops. It seems like he goes over to Qatar and then repeats their talking points, and then he goes over to Russia and seems to repeat Vladimir Putin's talking points after, quote unquote, developing a friendship with him. I just don't know what Steve Witkoff does for a living. Honest to God.
Fun fact here. Steve Witkoff's sons, Alex and Zach, they've collaborated with Donald Trump Jr. and other family members of the Trump family on several business ventures, including the crypto with World Liberty Financial and the private Washington, D.C. club executive branch. Think about it. Think about it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, ladies and gentlemen. You got two dads with their kids, the two kids, in business together, running around the world, making deals. Makes Hunter Biden look like a pansy. And now all of a sudden, Trump's not worried about Pakistan. Think about it. Think about it. Why? Because he needs them. Just like he needs Saudi Arabia and what about Turkey? Remember Gentry Beach at Mar-a-Lago? Well, now he's in Pakistan making the deals. Along with Turkey, and Bangladesh. Don't get me started there. That's where Gentry Beach is also at. So real estate is still very much in play. Land. They don't make it anymore, right? But there are reports that a crypto deal between a private U.S. firm links to the Trump family and Pakistan's newly established crypto council. All these things are going on in the background. He needs Pakistan. He doesn't need India. India's just getting in his way. And he can help Pakistan by hurting India. That's the way they do it over there. And Trump was presenting himself as a nationalist who had a strong bond with India before he got elected. But he made a U-turn as soon as the votes were in. He no longer needed India. He didn't even need the American people. He's in. But he still needed and was in debt to answering his Islamic group of friends and maybe needed to make good on those promises that maybe he can't get away from if he wanted to. Or else. Hold that thought. We also don't want to miss out on the grand finale. That's the oil. You see, before Trump's inauguration, shortly after the election at the UFC 309 fight in November 2024, President Donald Trump was sitting ringside with Yasser al-Rumayyan, the governor of Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, the PIF. And he's also the chairman of the state-owned oil company in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Aramco. He's someone who's probably not happy that India's taken most of their profits on oil sales by buying Russian oil. What does that have to do with Trump? Right? Someone would ask. It's a good question. Well, everything. It's a family affair. I'm sorry to interrupt, ladies and gentlemen, but while we're making this video, here, breaking kind of news here. It just came up like at 4:51, so like a couple hours ago. Jared Kushner's firm is said to be part of a $50 billion buyout of Electronic Arts. It's Kushner's private equity firm, Affinity Partners, is in talks right now with the Saudi Sovereign Wealth and Fund Silver Lake, Sovereign Wealth Fund and Silver Lake to buy out the video game giant. So here's Jared Kushner, who in 2020, before he went to Saudi Arabia, had nothing, not nothing, but nothing like he does now. Getting ready is talking about buying $50 billion a buyout to buy out an electronics firm in Saudi Arabia. Just throwing that in there real quick for you to know the late and breaking news to this video kind of fits right into this spot. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and enjoy the rest of the video. Jared Kushner was given a $2 billion business by these people, by these Saudis in oil. He was given that after Trump lost the election in 2020. There are some very close and serious ties with Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. I call it a man who's been compromised. Now Trump has Pakistan Army chief visiting America for the third time in as many months. You see, Asim Munir came once back in 2023. He made an official visit to the U.S. and met with the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and UN Secretary at the time, General Antonio Guterres. Then, now all of a sudden, Asim Munir in June 25 visited 5 days and was hosted for private lunch with President Trump at the White House. Weird. And then in August in 2025, he returned to Washington for meetings with political military leaders and came to Tampa, my city, and attended a farewell ceremony for the head of the U.S. Central Command in Florida, where he managed to say, hey, if we're going to go down, we're taking half the world with us with our nuclear bombs. Big bomb threat in America by a Pakistani Islamic chief of state. Then, again, now, just yesterday, today's the 26th. Yesterday was the 25th of September. I think that's right. Is that right? Yeah. President Trump accompanied Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Asim Noor for a meeting at the White House. Again, he's never been this close to anybody. He hasn't had this many meetings with anybody. So what would constitute a military chief of an Islamic state visiting any president of the United States, yet alone twice in such a short span? Note, all talks have been behind closed doors. We have no idea what they're talking about. In the open discussion that Asim Noor had when he visited the U.S. Central Command in Florida, Munir allegedly, once again, he stated, if Pakistan were facing an existential threat from India in a future conflict, I'll quote, he said, we will take half the world down with us. And now just days ago, I'm just going to say in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, even though I know it's Pakhtunkhwa province in Pakistan, their Air Force just did an airstrike on their own people. This is their own people, and nobody, and it killed, they're saying 20 to 30 people. And nobody from the press or the military came out to explain why. Why you flew airplanes, Chinese-made airplanes, over your own country and bombed your own people. No statement from the military officials was given. Just, take a wild guess what's going on. Who knows?
Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I'm going to tell them about you. You set a very bad tone. Quiet.
And I mean, Pakistan has also mentioned giving Donald Trump a Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. It's getting too close for comfort. It's not getting too close for comfort. It is too close for comfort. And right now, with Trump meeting him again, discussing bilateral issues, again, we hear nothing. It's silent. What were they talking about? Trump will come out and tell you whatever, 5 seconds he can give you on that meeting of what they might have discussed for a second. But what about the other 3 or 4 days with him? Open the doors, bro. Open the doors. What's going on? Because once again, there's no joint press conference where we can ask questions. The meeting was closed to the press, and the White House did not release an official video or readout of it. Nothing. And we know how Trump gets when he gets asked questions that he doesn't like. He gets weird. He gets discombobulated. What gives? Where's the transparency? Or, as we saw in the beginning, is Trump afraid of the questions that would come from the press? The questions that American people, India, Israel, and the West, all over the globe, people all over the global democracies in the world are asking. Legitimate questions. The main question I would like to ask, have you been compromised?
Quiet.
Now, President Donald Trump attends closed-door meetings with leaders of Qatar, Jordan, Turkey, Pakistan, Indonesia, Egypt, United Emirates, and Saudi Arabia during this UN General Assembly in New York. He comes out, it says it's working on it. Everything's looking real good. What's going on behind closed doors? We got Witkoff and Witkoff Jr., Gentry Beach at Mar-a-Lago. We're seeing what looks to be the total opposite, maybe, of what Operation Sindor is. India's trying to get rid of it, and America seems to be welcoming it. We can put the pieces together. We can see what's going on, but we can't ask any questions about it. And that's just weird. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours. I pray peace of God reign over this earth, transparency be made, nothing hidden that will not be revealed. In Jesus' name I pray. We'll see you on the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Have a blessed day. And be sure, ladies and gentlemen, to please leave us a like down there, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Have a blessed day. One love.